Jim, thank you again. I too want to thank Jesse Saglio, who's been our point man at the Commerce Corporation, really worked it and made it possible from the commerce side. So thank you again to Jesse Saglio, the Managing Director of Investments in Commerce. One of the centerpieces of this development is absolutely the Cambridge Innovation Center. Tim Rowe is the founder and CEO of CIC. Anyone who's visited Kendall Square recently, looked at the Renaissance in that region, can attest to the kind of transformative power that CIC has. CIC has built work environments and has done remarkable things in the places where it has landed and the places in which the businesses it has spurred have expanded. It's really incredible. You've heard about some of the features of this development. CIC itself, District Hall, Venture Cafe, all affiliates of and products of the work of CIC. Tim Rowe is a visionary, he's a doer, together with Brian Dacey, who is his operational chief and was at every turn with us making this deal happen. They are an absolutely extraordinary group. Tim Rowe, please join us at the stage.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out on this rather warm morning. But I think that the gods are smiling on this project, giving us this kind of weather at least. My name is Tim Rowe. I founded Cambridge Innovation Center 17 years ago with the notion that entrepreneurs could be more successful if they were around each other. The things that entrepreneurs need, to mention some of them, money, ideas, and talent, if you bring them tightly together, if you concentrate those resources, more output comes from a given amount of input. Why is this important? Why do we care? What we know is that in the United States, existing industry is always slowly declining. This may sound surprising, but if you look at all of the big corporations in the United States, every year they employ about 1 million people less than they did the year before. What's happening at the same time is that we're creating new companies, startups generally, that are employing more and more people, and the research says that on average every year new companies employ 3 million additional people. That's why our economy is strong in the United States. This is what makes us the United States as a strong, powerful nation, as opposed to some of the other countries that we see around the world that don't innovate as much. What we know less about is this process of innovation, what actually causes it to happen, what makes it possible for a city to go from being a small place to a big place on the back of substantial new changes, new companies, new technologies. None of us really know exactly what happens, but it seems to start with the universities more than anywhere else. And that was the first big draw of Rhode Island, being here next to Brown, Rhode Island School of Design, PC, Johnson & Wales. There's an amazing community here of thinkers and idea creators. It then moves through a process of capital formation. This is something that the state has been very active with money flowing into crazy ideas that initially look like they're not going to work, and turning into a few companies that do begin to work, and then before you know it, it turns into companies that employ 5, 10, 15, 20,000 people. If we back off on that process, if we think that's not something that's going to happen here or not important, that is a recipe for decline for any city, any state in the country. We have to focus on this. We have to move forward. And the good news is that we have the resources to do it. We have world-class resources here, and this is possible. When we were approached about this project by Wexford, we were immediately interested because we've done this before successfully with Wexford a number of times. They know how to make this happen. They've put together the people and the buildings and the teams that really work. So we were excited when they said, would you come to Providence? But there was one factor that really pushed us to say this should be our next project, and that was knowing that the governor here in Rhode Island is somebody who really understands this industry. Gina was a former venture capitalist herself. I don't know if that came out yet in these comments. She came up, we sat down and we talked. It became clear to me that there was leadership in Rhode Island that understood this innovation process better than most and was really going to work to make this successful. And nothing has proved that more than the last couple of years of work figuring out how to address all of the challenges that come up in a project like this, with the culmination of an actual new complex here, the Wexford Innovation Complex. So we're thrilled to be here. We're thrilled to be part of bringing the resources that are here in Rhode Island together. It wouldn't have happened without the support of the I-95 Commission, the RICC, and frankly, all of the people here, including the federal delegation, that have worked so hard to make Rhode Island a strong place for business and for innovation. So thank you all. I think we're looking forward to a wonderful period of prosperity in this country. Never before have we seen innovation moving this quickly. I'll just do a quick show of hands. How many here have a smartphone with them? Okay, I think that's 99.8%. Does everyone realize how much of your lives are tied up now with having this rich access to information? Does everyone realize that that product is only 10 years old? The first smartphone was released in 2007. It's 2017 now. It was only 11 or 12 years ago that we first really started to understand the human genome. And only a few years ago we started to figure out how we could recode that genome in real time, so that in our own bodies, in our own lifetimes, we could edit through gene therapy the genes that give rise to many of the diseases that face humanity. These kinds of new technologies are coming faster and faster, and will continue to come even faster because we're building on everything we've built. And everything we build gets bigger, so the building of new things gets faster. This will mean that those who are engaged in this process of integrating new ideas, the capital resources to power crazy new ideas, the physical resources like these buildings, that is going to be an enormously successful group of people, an enormously successful community. I think that since there are many people here that from outside the innovation community, I just want to say, please support this community as it grows. Please look for ways that you can help remove the additional barriers that we'll probably run into over the coming years. Let's make this thing work. Let's make this thing a shining example of how you can take university innovation and ideas and turn that into jobs and turn that into prosperity for a state and a city. Thank you very much.